Hello everyone and welcome to Club Live here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We are live on YouTube, so as always, get involved in the live chat. I am Scott Carney. I am hosting duties tonight for Club Live. Makes a change. And joining me is Ali Pearson. Ali, how's it going, mate?
Not so bad. It's a bit weird just having the two of us on a Friday night. Usually at least there's three of us, but only two of us tonight. But no, looking forward to tomorrow, Saturday, 3 o'clock. I think the last time I had a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff at Ibrox, it must have been a while ago. Me actually look back.
Don't ask me the kind of things, mate. I've got no idea. Scotia might be making a cameo later on in the podcast, just so you know. He might make an appearance. He's currently on his way home from work, so he might be here. And Ryan won't be here. As simple as that. So, yes, before we get into things, shameless plug as always, to support the podcast to reach the next level, you can join the YouTube channel for as little as 99p a month. You can also buy the podcast a coffee and join the Coffee Buying Legend membership via buymeacoffee.com. All the links for that are in the description for this podcast. And you can also donate via the live chat as well. If you go to the super chat function, you can do it that way if you wish to do so. So, Ali, we'll get into Rangers things. And first, before I go into this, hello chat, it's good to see you all. I appreciate it. There is only two of us. Ali and myself are not very good at multitasking. I will try my hardest to get to your comments when I can, but unfortunately I need to listen to what Ali's actually saying, which again is a new thing for me, but I'm trying to get used to that. So I'll get to your comments when I can, but yeah, I thank you all for joining us. Ali, we'll start with Allan McGregor's testimonial. Rangers were beat by 2-1 by Newcastle United at a pretty packed Ibrox on Tuesday night. What was your thoughts on the game overall, mate, and probably more the turnout, mate, first of all?
Yeah, fantastic turnout. Even the Newcastle fans, I thought were brand new. I met up with them with Fraser, who was coming to the game just before. A couple of guys he knows coming up for the game, and in amongst the town and down Paisley Road and the Loudon, they were all in amongst it. They were good fun, the Newcastle fans, the full Broom Loan. It was a good atmosphere, 50,000. Obviously for Allan McGregor, I thought it was a fantastic turnout for a Tuesday night, 7:45 kickoff. That was fantastic. The game overall, it wasn't great as a spectator to watch the game. I don't think the first half I thought they passed us about the park, to be honest. You could see the class. And they're a very good team, Newcastle. It's you can tell they're well drilled, well coached. I keep thinking Newcastle for 2 seasons ago when they weren't very great, but under Eddie Howe, and obviously they've had finances pumped into them. They're a very good team. But no, it was a good run out for us.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I pretty much agree, mate, with the first half. I did a quick reaction when I got back to the car, and yeah, it was. They did dominate. I think you're right that you forget that they finished. Was it fourth? They finished last season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no mean feat to do that in the Premier League, to be honest. And they have really had a complete change of kind of fortune, leadership, direction, all of everything that you could imagine. I think they've completely changed around. Obviously, they've got new owners as well, and yeah, I was impressed with them. I wasn't expecting Rangers to really dominate the game at any point on Tuesday night because of who you're playing. You've got to remember you're playing pre-season or not. I wasn't expecting Rangers to be kind of dominating in possession anyway. The first half, mate, we've seen the most that we've seen with the new signings. See, we were kind of lined up a 4-3-3, mate. At times it looked like Campbell was kind of playing a false 9, and then kind of Seamer and Lammers, but they were all kind of rotating like we try and do, and within the front line. But the midfield three of Lundstrom, Jack, and Dow was to start off with. I think maybe the first half, mate, was maybe a wee bit of an eye on maybe the Champions League to an extent, but Beale was probably very aware that we weren't going to dominate much of the ball, and I think that's probably why Jack and Lundstrom maybe got the nod ahead of Raskin. Look, again, everybody's at a different stage of pre-season. I do understand that, but I think from the lineup on itself, it looked like he was prepared to give Newcastle United the ball. But even at that, mate, I think we've seen glimpses of the new signings now. Is there any one of them in particular that you like to look of, you enjoyed seeing, looking forward to seeing more of?
It's difficult. It's the first game in pre-season really that we've played in front of the fans. I don't like judging in pre-season because that ain't the team that we'll line up against Kilmarnock when we kick off. But in terms of the new players that I've seen that I thought looked decent, I thought Lammers looked decent. I thought he kind of pressed well up that top line, took his goal well. I thought technically in the ball he looked decent. I felt a wee bit sorry for the boy Seema up front. He was a bit isolated at times, running after lost causes. He didn't have the best of games, but again, he's up against a class team in Newcastle. And Dowell, middle of the park, thought he was all right, but he's in there with Jack and Lundstrom. Lundstrom, for me, slows everything down too much. I think Lundstrom will be useful in certain games, maybe away from home in Europe or something when we're more defensive, but at Ibrox, especially when we're in the league, I don't think he'll play for Rangers. I can't see it. The only one I was really impressed with, Carney, he's not a new signing, but he kind of is a new signing because he came back the tail end of last year. John Souttar, for me, I thought he was very good. The way he stepped out for the back line with the ball, confident. For me, he is nailed on now to start beside Connor Goldson because Ben Davies, again, didn't give me confidence when he was on the park. Either did Brian. I said Brian again. It's Ryan's
God's
pal.
sake, man.
Ryan's pal Barisic. I think because I think about Barisic with me and Ryan, but no, his pal Barisic.
Brian Barisic.
Brian Barisic, aye. Then he cover himself in glory. But no, I thought John Souttar was very good. And for me, he has to start beside Goldson unless we bring in a left-sided centre-half.
I would agree, mate. I think Souttar looked very solid. He really did. I don't think Davis was particularly bad. I do think, however, there's already an opinion of him. There's already like people have already made up their minds one way or another with Davis. I think he is still one of the ones that's probably picked to go, and I still think we're in the market. Even though we'll come on to transfers, we're still going to be in the market for another centre half, no matter about who's coming back, who's fit, etc. But yeah, Souttar for me, mate, I was very impressed with him. I think I have been. I think I've almost been kind of put on the back foot by how much I have been impressed by him since he's came back to fitness. I think he's been solid. I think there's obviously going to be a bit of adapting to do for him because even when we lined up initially, he played on the right hand side, as you would expect, obviously with Davis being there, but he did play on the right hand side. So it's really if they can get him up to speed in order to be the left centre half and he can adjust to being that. I know it sounds like it's all the kind of same thing, but it's still all relevant to make sure that he's comfortable and can perform at his best while he's in that position. But I'm saying, mate, the way he's bringing the ball out from the back to beat the press, because Newcastle United just pressed constantly. It was just like a constant press. They never really stopped. But the way he stepped out a few times, no, I was quite happy. Seema, mate, as you mentioned, I think it's not really going to be his natural position, the way where he was playing there. What kind of shoehorning players in, I suppose, to get minutes, and it is all about legs, it is all about minutes just now. It's about getting sharpness. You could see that we were quite heavy on our legs. Newcastle looked much sharper than we did, but again, as you would expect, they're a top four. They finished top four in the Premier League last year, so try not to be too over analytical about it. But with Seema and even Lammers, mate, I thought they're big boys, mate.
Yeah, I've been saying that all pre-season about the signings. Look at the height in terms of all the guys we've brought in are over 6 foot. They're all 6'1" plus. The only guy is Cifuentes, who's obviously not in yet, but he's below 6 foot. But they're all big guys. You can tell. We've said for years, Carney, that we're too lightweight at times, especially when you're playing these hammer throwers at time in the league in Scotland. And sometimes when we go into Europe, I think we need to be a bit more physical. And I think Beale's addressed that this season. He's brought guys that are taller, more physical. Even Tav said, I think he used the phrase "land of the giants" or something. I think when he was asked,
that's right.
In terms of we ain't going to be bullied this season. So I'm happy to see that we've brought a bit of physicality into the team.
Yeah, that's one thing I think as well. I think Dowell as well, while we're on the new signings, towards the end of the first half, he got moved further forward a little bit, and I don't think it was by coincidence that we started playing the kind of best football that we'd played. I think he's more of he's saying he can play in it, but I think he's probably a little bit more further forward than in it, and I think Cifuentes coming in was probably going to free him up, because I know it was Lundstrom and Jack that he was playing alongside with, but he still didn't affect the game not that I was expecting. Again, I feel like I'm being over analytical, but when I did notice him playing further forward, we started to play not bad football in the first half. From what you've seen of Dill, mate, I still think there's a player there. I still think he could be important for us, and he could definitely have an impact.
Yeah, listening to him before he came, he plays for up the park. I think he plays more for 10, if you want to say, and he can play out wide as well. I think that's where we'll see more benefit from him further up the park. It's difficult to judge because you know, some fans are like they'll write players off instantly. We're guilty for that as well sometimes. But
Aye.
you see a player and then you go, "Oh Christ." I'm not judging. I think we'll see more on Saturday. Obviously, he'll come on that, can't he? But of what the team may look like. But it was good to see Dill because he's a guy kind of forgotten in amongst all these signings we've signed. I know he was one of the first signings, but he's a guy kind of forgotten in amongst the fans because he doesn't have maybe a fantastic flair name, if you want to say, because he came from Norwich. But yeah, I think he'll play an important part for Rangers in the league probably going forward. But again, it'll be interesting to see him moving forward, where he actually fits in and what system we're going to play. Because at 4-3-3, whatever we played at the on Tuesday night, I can't see him playing that system going forward with potentially the players he wants to bring in.
No, I think there's avenues to go down there, mate, for sure, because talking about do we need two sitting midfielders at Ibrox when we're playing against Scottish teams? No, we don't. In Europe, things are going to be much different, but I'd expect that's the kind of time when we're in Europe against a significant team that we would look at playing the kind of 5-3-2 or whatever the way it's going to be. I would imagine he'll look to utilise that. And there's a lot more games still to come. There's going to be a lot more experimentation for sure. In the second half, mate, we've seen every player, I think, that was on the bench. Obviously, McGregor come off to a fantastic ovation, as you would expect, about 35, 37 minutes. And we've seen Butland coming on. Butland didn't have much to do, which I probably kind of describes how the second half went. Obviously, Newcastle made a number of changes as well. The boy playing down the left-hand side for them in the second half, I can't remember his name, but he ripped Avenir to shreds, man, about 2 or 3 times.
It's not that striker they signed last season for 60 million or something.
He looked quite young. I don't know who he was. It's shocking that I don't know. It's not.
Was it a boy with the white hair?
The white hair.
Gordon signed him for Everton.
Was it? He looked good, man. He looked very good. They looked quite. When he was warming up, the Newcastle fans were kind of making a big deal about him. They were kind of singing a song of that to him. So they were. But again, when he came on, I thought he was really good. Anyway, back to Rangers things. Obviously, we've seen a number of changes, mate. We've seen Sakala, we've seen Wright, we've seen Matondo, we've seen everybody. I've seen Feco, Rice. I can't even remember who else, mate. Scott Wright, then Hadji as well. Yeah, so out of the French players, mate, that did come on, I will pick out Hadji, mate. I do think he looked a lot sharper. I thought he looked a lot more like the kind of Hadji that we're used to seeing. And he was playing kind of slightly deeper in that. And Bill was asked about it after it, about kind of playing him deeper. Is that something he'll look into? And at the end of the day, Hadji's in a position now where you can move on, you can go and get yourself another club, or you can try and find a way to get yourself into this team, because we've went and spent money in a position that he wants to play in, which kind of drops him down the pecking order almost by the rules of the way it goes. The fans are going to expect to see players that we've spent money on. So kind of by default. But as I say, when he came on, mate, I was like, "Whoa, there's a wee bit of the Yanis Hadji that I remember." I thought he looked particularly sharp, mate. Maybe it was the pink boots.
Yeah, no, it did look good. He's a guy that I've said all pre-season I would move on for, depending on what the offer was. I think I've said around about 5 million or something. But when I seen him come on, he was very sharp. He didn't look like the guy last season who looked like he never seen a football in his life, and you thought, where's he going? Is this injury caught up with him? But he's had a full pre-season under him, and out of the guys that come on, Carney, he was the one guy that really caught my eye. Scotia will be happy to hear that, but he was. I thought he'd come on, he looked bright, he linked up well, he was moving the ball quick. And yeah, because he'll know, Carney, like you say, we've got umpteen players in his position now, so he needs to he needs to show something to get up that pecking order. And I thought he did, to be fair, when he came on. I mean, it was only a wee cameo he was on for, so I'm not going to get too overexcited on it, but he did look very bright compared to what he was. And also, the boy, Yefko, I think we say it, left centre-half when he came on, a huge, big boy. He looked very comfortable with the ball at his feet. I've seen him before in the B team. I think he can play left back as well, but I thought he looked very good as well. And he was physical as well, big guy, decent with the ball at his feet, could come out with it. He's another guy that we need players for the B team coming through, and he's another one that could he make it? I don't know, but from what I've seen of him, he looked handy to have as a squad player at least.
Yeah, definitely. I left Raskin to the end, mate, for a particular reason, because I want to kind of put him and Cantwell into the kind of same bracket. When Raskin came on, see the distribution of the ball that he had, the winning the ball back, it was. I just, the more and more I see him, the more and more I'm impressed by him, and how much I think that we've got ourselves a cracking player here. I think him and Cantwell, mate, it's still very, very clear to me that they are going to be a major part for us being successful next season, and they're going to be key, mate. I think they're going to be key to our success.
Yeah, he was another one that stood out like a sore thumb when he came on the park. I think we're asking as he gets a ball, his head's up, and his first thought is moving that ball forward. You'll be talking about Lundstrom, and this isn't bashing Lundstrom. He gets a ball and wants to look about, turn about, and before you know it, the other team's back in their shape, and we can't break the lines. And Raskin's completely different. He wants to move the ball forward. He's very good, Raskin. Again, the reason we brought them in January was to give them 5-6 months under their belt, pre-season with us, and then hit the ground running. They hit the ground running quicker than I thought when they first came into Rangers. That shows how good they are, but they'll be key for this season. Cantwell as well. He's got a swagger about him, which I've said this for ages. He's got a swagger about him, which I like. I've seen him hitting some challenge with Sky Sports today that he's hitting the crossbar, and I think he hit four balls off the crossbar to do the joint. He's on the leaderboard. His joint up the top, and his response to it was basically, "I'm disappointed. I'm better than that." I thought, I like that about him. He's got a swagger about him, which you need to play for Rangers. So they'll be very important for next season. This season coming up.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right, mate. It's just when he came on and you just noticed that he was there. He was very, very good when he came on. But again, he has been away playing with an international team as well, so he's not much of a layoff. Maybe his other players, so it's maybe more further on in terms of being ready for the new season, but I thought he did stick out like a sore thumb. So after the game, mate, Bale made comments regarding injuries or updates on injuries, and a few of them were very positive. So Dessers initially, obviously, I'd mentioned that he wasn't included in the squad, but it just came too soon for him. Tuesday did, but he will be involved on Saturday. Lawrence as well, mate, may be involved on Saturday. He said that he's chomping at the bit. I bet he might need to hold him back, but he has trained with the team. And Kemar Roof, mate, he'll be involved on Saturday by the looks of it, and is in good shape. I mean, I'll wait until I see it with my own eyes, of course. But what would you do? Would you play Roof now, or would you keep him for one game during the season that he'll play?
What, the one game that he'll score and then get injured?
Yes, that one.
I don't know. I mean, he's been going on Instagram the whole summer, and he's been winding us all up with all this pre-season work he's been doing. He's about seeing specialists. So play him. Let's see if we can get at least 20, 30 games out. If we can get 20, 30 games out come out of this season, half the games we're going to play potentially, that'll do for me, because I think he'll contribute, especially if you get Dessers up front and potentially maybe Danilo as well. So we maybe down a pecking order, Kamaru, but he's decent to use in certain games. That's how I would use him. So be interesting. The one I was interested about was Tom Lawrence, because I didn't think we would see him till potentially late September. So he's ahead of schedule for me. I'll be delighted to see him in that football park on Saturday, even if he comes on for 5 minutes, because he's another option, another guy that kind of gets forgotten about because he's been out for so long, but a guy that can offer something in the team moving forward. So,
well, it's like the footballing cliche, mate, of it'll be like a new signing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's you look at that midfield now, and obviously with potentials of Cifuentes coming in doing it's it's exciting when you look at the top line now, the players we potentially could have when we kick off against Kilmarnock, and we should have that, because last season you looked at our bench at points and thought, nothing really on that. And I hate going on about the other side of the city, but I think you've said it as well, but they could pull players out and put players in and you didn't notice it. And I think this season we're at the point where we have a squad where we can do that as well. Touch wood, we don't get the injuries we got last season. That's the only thing.
That. Don't say things like that, mate. Come on. Don't say things like that. But no, I agree, mate. I think the options that were, especially in the kind of midfield five, as we're probably going to need to call it, because of the way it's going to kind of move about, it's exciting, mate. It is exciting. There's a lot of competition for places, and it's not a bad thing. I still think, obviously, we'll come on to it very shortly, but there's going to need to be trimming down of the squad. We're not daft. We have to be able to. We have to start recruiting some money, recouping some money back, instead of just spending it all out. We can't afford just to let players to leave for a free all the time. So, as a business, we need to start selling players. But I think that'll come. I do think that'll come. But no, I think the options, mate, are very exciting. I'm excited to see Dessers, mate. I am. I'm looking forward to seeing him. And I'm looking forward to seeing Roof. Look, as I say, we've said a million times, Kemar Roof is a fantastic football player. He really is, but he's made out of paper mache, man. So we'll just need to wait and see how long Kemar Roof can stay fit. And I hope he does. I really hope he does, because the options we would have then going forward are brilliant. He also mentioned King's injury is not as bad as they first feared. They thought it was a break, but it's not. So he'll be 4 or 5 weeks before he's back in training. So that's good news. Goldson, end of the month, will hopefully make the start of the season if all things go to plan, and Sterling before the weekend or the start of next week for him returning to training. And even at them, mate, 3 defenders we're looking to bring back in. Maybe not King as much, but Sterling and Goldson coming back into the back line, and the potential of one more coming in. That's another area, mate, where you're like, things are shaping up nicely there.
Yeah, it looks good. Sterling Tav is right back. I know Sterling can play other positions as well. Goldson, Suter, Davies. I think we're still looking at another left-sided centre half to bring in. We've just mentioned the boy Ifeko. I think could be handy as a squad player. And then you've got Borner and Yilmaz at left back. So it's looking good. Young King, for me, it's good to hear he's only 5-6 weeks away. I would potentially, for King, when he comes back, maybe loan him out up to Christmas, or maybe a season-long deal somewhere.
But can we, though? And I hate to sound like Scotia.
Well,
here,
I know this is.
Can we?
Is this because of the Scottish?
Yeah,
Scottish thing. I'm not sure. Scotia's the man for that one. I just think he'd be down the pecking order. Balogun, I forgot you mentioned there as well. He's there too now, so I think he falls down the pecking order. Young King, so interesting to see what we do. Obviously, we've moved on. Mail, he went to Kilmarnock. He's left the club as well. So we need to trim the squad now, Carney. Because I think I was saying the other day, the European squad, we're top heavy. There's going to be guys we'll have to leave out. Like decent names, I'm saying we'll have to leave out unless we move players on. So I think we'll be looking to move players on before other players come in.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's potentially another. We'll just come to them very shortly, but there'll be 2 that I think is definitely going to happen, and the rest is going to. I think it will be determined on how many people actually leave, actually move on. Before we do move on quickly, mate, Yilmaz has to get his chance now, doesn't he? Look, and I know it's the first game of pre-season. I don't want to slate Borna at all. I really don't, because I don't like doing that. They didn't look particularly sharp, but again, it is quite early. But I thought Yilmaz, when he came on as well, I thought he made an impact, mate. I think it's time. I think it's time for Yilmaz to get a run in the team, and if it's not good enough, Borna can come back in. I get that, but I think Yilmaz deserves the chance now.
Yeah, Borna wasn't too clever on Tuesday night. It is the first game back, so I'm not going to go over the top on him. I know Ryan didn't rate him, but Ryan doesn't rate him anyway. So
Ryan doesn't rate anybody.
No, he doesn't rate Barisic anyway. So
no,
the moth will be coming for Ryan. Don't you
worry.
But no, Yilmaz has got to start. As much as some people maybe think, he kind of divides the support. I think Yilmaz, I think a lot of folk are like, no, give him a chance. And I think some Rangers fans have kind of, maybe they don't think he's quite there, if you want to say. He's quite small. But for me, I've seen enough of him in the last couple of games of last season. I know a lot of them are dead rubbers to give him that chance going forward this season. And if he's not good enough, then Barisic is there to bring in. But you've got to give the guy a chance for me. We've spent decent money on him, reportedly 4 or 5 million euros, whatever it was, on him. Touted as one of the up-and-coming left-backs in Turkey as well. So he's came for a big team over there. So, yeah, for me, Yilmaz starts the beginning of the season, and I'd like to see him start on Saturday.
Yeah, so would I, mate. Yeah, so would I. I agree. Before we go any further, it's Manscaped promotion time. So, time for a word from our sponsors. If you haven't heard already, it's Smooth Sack Summer. When you're playing in the summer sun, make sure you're scaped from pubes to bum. That's right, this is the summer to keep your balls cool while still looking hot with Manscaped. The leaders in below the waist grooming are making sure we have a ball this summer by giving our pants partners everything they need to stay fresh. Dive headfirst into Smooth Sack Summer by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with our code CLUB@22. The Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to prepare that summer bod. They have built the ultimate grooming bundle for your summer grooming. Now that you have the perfect haircut, use Manscaped's liquid formulations to keep that freshness. Most importantly, use the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant to stay cool in the heat. That's Scotia's favourite. With a soothing aloe vera formula, it's the best in the business for below-the-waist freshness, and this clear drying formula will keep you looking good while smelling good. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code CLUB@22 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code CLUB@22 at manscaped.com. It's Smooth Sack Summer, boys. Get on board or get left behind. What will your balls do, Ali?
They will thank you.
They will thank you. Your balls will definitely thank you. Thank you to Manscaped for their continued support of the podcast. Very much appreciated to them, and they'll continue into the 23-24 season with us. And if you use our code, you're supporting our podcast. And generally, I say it all the time, I'm not just saying it because they sponsor us. Their stuff is genuinely brilliant. Like, it is genuinely brilliant. I absolutely love the stuff. So, as I've said before, I didn't realise I needed ball deodorant in my life, mate. I didn't know that was a thing. And as soon as I got it, I was like, well, okay, try it. And now I'm like, every time I run out, I'm like, oh, I need to get more of that. But no, thank you to Manscaped. Right, back into Rangers stuff, mate. We'll move on to the transfers, mate. I think that's probably where we're next at. And I'll start with Mayo because you did mention him, mate. He's moved to Kilmarnock on a 3-year deal for an undisclosed fee that we'll find out very soon as it's on transfer market. Any shock in that for you? Him moving on? He's 23 now. He's probably wanting first team football. Is there any real shock in Mayo moving?
Nah, he's one of a number of guys at that age, Carney, that need to be moved on, unfortunately, because for his own sake as well. He's obviously played at Kilmarnock last season. I thought he'd done quite well at Kilmarnock last season. Well, he must have done because they've come in and paid some money for him and brought him back in a 3-year contract. So it's good to see him get a move to a decent club at Kilmarnock as well. But there's players round about his level we need to move off the books, I think. We've moved a few players on loan. One of the boys went to Thistle the other week. I forgot his name. He played at Ibrox a couple of seasons ago for us, but he's been moved out of there. But we need to trim the squad, and guys like Mayo at 23 needs to be moved on, unfortunately. I don't think we'll get very much money for him, to be honest. An undisclosed fee, I think. But good luck to him at Kilmarnock anyway. So I thought he was a decent player when I seen him in the B team years ago. Yeah. He stood out. He looked a lot bigger than a lot of the guys in the park. But ultimately, these guys, they get to a point and they're not good enough, unfortunately, and we need to move them on.
No, I agree, mate. I think it's they're not always going to work out. That's the thing. I think sometimes we can get blindsided by it and think that every player that comes through the youth...
Ben Williamson. There we go. Thank you, Caroline.
Ben Williamson. Well done. At least somebody pays attention, mate, because we definitely don't. I was like, as you said it, I was going, Ben, I'm sure his name was Ben. I was like, well, I can't remember his second name. Anyway, but no, not every player that comes through the ranks is going to is going to end up being a success. It's not possible for it to be like that. I do still think there's work that Rangers could do in order to give the players more chance, but Mayo was one that, as you say, we seen him at the CRB team game, mate, and I was like, big boy looks ready. He looked ready, but I think it was his physical size as well compared to others. His body was ready to move, to make the step. And look, I'm never going to criticise a player that says to a manager, I want to leave because I want to go and play football. Fair enough to you. Honestly, fair enough. You can't stand in somebody's way if he wants to go try and develop himself. And I'd imagine the door's always open there for him to make a return should things go that way for him, or should he kind of kick on and have a good career. But yeah, good luck to him. Absolutely good luck to him. Just let's hope he's not great when he plays against us. That would be tremendous. In terms of transfers in, mate, Beale has said that he definitely wants the business done before the Kilmarnock game. At the start of the season, he said we are ahead of schedule, and we'll see more ins and outs in the coming days. Cifuentes, mate, was one that we've mentioned earlier. He said he's a player that we like. We're hoping the deal can be moved on to happen now, but our Bosman has agreed, so at the very least he will be here in January. Thank you, John, mate. Really do appreciate that. Thank you, very much appreciated, mate. Really do appreciate it. I would imagine, mate, that this one's closer than he's letting on, because I don't see the benefit for anyone for that player to remain at that club till December or January or whatever it may be. I don't think any party gets a benefit from it. So I would imagine that one is very close, especially if he's now admitted that the Bosman is signed at least.
Yeah, I expect that to be done the next. I think that'll be done before we kick off against Kilmarnock, Carney. And the good thing about Cifuentes is he's been playing football in the MLS at the moment, so he's up to speed. He can come in and play the team straight away. So as soon as he needs a pre-season under him, and so he's ready to go. I don't think Los Angeles and Rangers will be too far away. I think reportedly they were looking for $2 million, and Rangers were offering $1 million. So they're not far away. So they'll come to some sort of agreement, because again, Los Angeles probably won't want to lose him for nothing when they know he's going for nothing in December. So they'll take something. He is one of their better players, looking at their team. But yeah, I expect Rangers to get that deal done, Carney, and he'll be in before the start of the season.
Yeah, I very much think so as well, mate, the way it's looking. We'll move on to Danilo, mate. He said it's a player that we also like, but it's not the only forward that we are talking to. And then I think the day after, according to Dutch press, there's €6 million has been bid by Rangers. And there's now also reports that Danilo has told his club that he wants to leave. He doesn't want to be there now going forward. Another one, mate, that I think's probably closer than Beale's maybe letting on. But I'm not going to lie, mate, this one excites me quite a lot. I think Beale's trying to put people off by saying that his name was leaked and whatever else, and people are talking about it more. Well, that's because we're going to spend €6 million on a player, mate. We don't do that very often.
Yeah, and thanks to Brian for the super sticker as well.
Cheers, Brian. Thanks, mate.
This is it's similar to, I think I said the other week, it's similar to the Dessers one. It's rumbling, and you'd like to think it's good, but we're getting closer and closer to an agreement. It's Danilo. I honestly thought at the beginning it was either Dessers or Danilo. And when we got Dessers, I thought that was Danilo out of the equation. Mm-hmm. And then it came back saying, no, we're still interested. I think Beale's saying we're talking to other strikers as a way of saying to Farnard, look, let's...
pull your finger out.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, pull your finger out.
I don't think we are talking to any other strikers. We might have people in the background we may approach after, but I'd be very surprised if we're talking to other strikers as well. I think he's the guy we want, Carney. He wants to leave Farnard. He's down the pecking order at Farnard. So it makes sense for both parties to make this deal happen. Good age. I'm excited about him. I know folk get excited because he's Brazilian. He's called Danilo, and all Brazilian. I know, but not all. As we've been told, not all Brazilian players are brilliant. I mean, we've had a few. Emilson Cremari. I'll just bring you back to those. The banter.
Yeah, that's a bit of a clang. Yeah.
Yeah. So. If he comes in, Carney, I was speaking to Stuart Watt today, and if he comes in for reportedly, let's throw it out, he comes in for $6 million, for instance, right? Between him, Dessers, and Lammers, we've spent reportedly close to 13-14 million in the top line, which it was needed done, because that was the most important part of the park for us in terms of last season. We couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, and it just shows the board have backed Michael Beale big style this summer. So Michael Beale, I think, has been given all the tools by the Rangers board, and it's up to him. But they've spent more than what I thought, Rangers, because we've not brought much in apart from Cholak so far. So I'm impressed with what we've been spending, especially for a skint club.
Yeah, I've not got any money, mate. No, we're brooked, mate. We're taking loans and all sorts to pay for this and whatever else you want to believe from that lot. But you're right, mate. It was crucial. It was crucial for us to invest in the front line because of who left, and I'm so glad that it's happened. Look, Danilo is one, and it's not just because he's a Brazilian forward, but I have seen him. I have seen him play, and I like him. I do really like him. I think he would do a fantastic job for us. I really do. And just having him and Dessers to be able to be available to play as a kind of two up top, that's I'm very excited about that. Generally, very very excited about it. I think that's something really to look forward to. Should the deal go ahead, I think. The way it's looking from the reports and the people that I believe in, I think it will happen. I think the clubs are in very much open communication. I've seen a few people in the chat just there saying the bid's been rejected again. I'm not 100% sure if that's sure. I've not been on to have a look. But even if it was rejected, I still see Rangers going back in. There will be negotiations happening, especially if Danilo has said that he wants to leave. He might not have come out and said fully that he wants to go to Rangers, but I think it's clear that the business is there to be done, the deal is there to be done, and I would expect it to maybe run on a wee bit longer. As you say, you've got to be patient sometimes in these things, that you have to be patient for it in order to happen. But I'm still quite confident of that one coming over the line, because as you said, mate, there's no other real striker that we're really getting strongly linked with. It is purely just him. In terms of outs, mate, Kamara looks like he is definitely for the off, mate. He's been pretty much told that there's no guarantee of him getting game time. Reportedly, Bill says he's been ill and he's now back with the squad, but it's going to give him a chance. The day off that they had was going to give him a chance. I think it was yesterday or Wednesday. It was going to give him time to make a decision, have conversations with who he had to have conversations with. But Leeds look like the top runner, mate, somewhere between 4 and 5 million, considering how the deal's going to be structured and whatever report you want to believe. Leeds, probably not a bad move for him.
Yeah, Leeds in the Championship will be expected to bounce back up for that Championship back into the Premier League. So that's a good move for Kamara. Kamara's a good football player. I think some people forget that just because he was he kind of fell off a cliff for us. But if we can get £4 to £5 million for him, I think that's a good bit of business for us. For my guy, yes, he has 2 years left. Yes, he's a Finnish internationalist, but we've made it clear that we don't want Kamara, so teams aren't going to give you top dollar for him. But I think £5 million is decent. £5 million for a team like Leeds with a parachute payments in that Championship isn't very much for them. I think he would slot in nicely in that Championship down there. I think he would do a job for Leeds down there. So, good luck to him. But he's one of many, can he? Scott Wright, the other one, obviously reportedly away to Turkey to talk to them. We need to trim the squad because these players aren't going to get game time, and we need to bring money in. So, good luck to Kamara. He did well for Rangers for £50,000. He did well, very good couple of seasons, good in Europe. But again, another player I wish well, but another player that has to go in terms of trimming the squad.
Yeah, Scott Wright's the other one, mate, that looks like he's been pretty much told as well that he can't be guaranteed game time, and he's holding talks, or he was holding talks with a Turkish team that I've never heard of. I think they were newly promoted, so I've never heard of them. Scott Wright's another one, mate. I can never be angry at a player for having a lack of ability, mate, and Scott Wright had a lot of things working for him, but the thing that always let him down more often than not was end product, mate. I know he scored important goals for us. He was involved in important goals for us, but it's just another one that I think his times kind of naturally came to an end at the club, and the system that I think we're going to be moving into with Beale, I just don't really think there's a place for him anymore.
Yeah, I like Scott Wright. I thought as an impact player, Scott Wright was decent. He could look like a world beater at times, Scott Wright, when he caught the ball. And I liked him because he got a head up and he drove with a ball and he was direct and wanted to take players on. I agree, his end product wasn't great at times. Didn't score many goals. Did score that goal in the Scottish Cup final, which was a fantastic strike, but his end product wasn't quite there, to be honest. And if we want to go to the next stage, which we always say every season when we kick off, players like Scott Wright, unfortunately, need to be moved on because we need to bring better players and upgrading Scott Wright. So, again, another player that I wish well. I think he'll do well wherever he goes. Turkey's a kind of strange one because you see players go out there and they only last a year. I thought he might.
Year or so, yeah.
I thought he might go somewhere like the English Championship because I think he could do well down there. But good luck to him. But again, another player we need to shave off the wage bill.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's a shame it's not really worked out for him, but I think more so because of the changing system that I think doesn't look like we're going to have out and out wingers anymore. It looks like that kind of system's gone under Bill for now anyway. So I don't think he's going to be here next season. But good luck to him. Good luck to him. Just quickly, mate. Sakala still doesn't know the offside rule, mate. Like, can we sell him? Can we? Can we?
No, because I like the song, can so he's staying. I don't know what's happened with Sakala. That kind of Saudi one's kind of falling away in the background now, isn't it? It's out all the ones that were kind of concrete. Kamara, Scott Wright, kind of looked like something's happened there. The Sakala one's kind of drifted away back again. This Saudi one, so interesting to see what happens with him. I still think he's an option, Carney, off it. I know you can't go him, but I still think he's an option because he's that much a curveball.
When he came on, though, right, even when he came on, and I know it's the first game of the season, but he'd done everything that he was doing last season. Everything that annoyed me, he was still doing.
You can't train him.
Being offside twice, right, and not just offside. Like the first one, he was offside by about 3 yards. You're like, what are you doing? Generally, what are you doing? And then one when he was out on the left-hand side as well, and he just runs out the park with the ball. You're like, yeah, of course, yes, of course. But no, I think, but he's another one that I think, where does he fit? Where does he fit within the team? Because I don't think we're going for these out-and-out strikers, and maybe he's looking at him to the possibility of playing a kind of false, I don't even know what you call them, like a 10, like an advanced 10 or whatever it is, a kind of false 9 striker thing. I don't know, just behind a kind of a focused number 9 striker, but I just don't really see the place for him. I think of everybody that we brought in improvements, and if we can get any sort of money back for him, even I would be looking to move him on. But yeah, sorry, I'll stop fashion Sakala bashing now. It's probably not fair on him. We'll move on, mate, to the release of the third kit. Eagle-eyed viewers will have seen mine is already sitting behind me tonight. I absolutely love this top. I cannot remember seeing a top come out by Rangers in I don't know how many years now, where I looked at it and I went, that is a thing of absolute beauty. It is obviously a hat back to the 93-94 season with the kind of orange and blue. It's full blue on the back, but I like it. I have got it, and all I will say, mate, is Castore know exactly what they are doing. However, I do think this home top, the away top, and this third top, mate, is the best 3 that they've done. Maybe last year's home top, I think that was quite good as well. I think that was quite nice as well, but it was still a wee bit too overcomplicated than it needs to be. Whereas I think these 3 I think they're spot on.
Yeah, they've upped their game this season. Castore with the 3 tops have brought. I think I like the home top. I think you can't do much with the home top for me. It's blue and that's it. There's not much you can do with it. The away top, when I went and physically seen it in the store, I thought, I like that. And then when I seen the rumours of the top behind you, coming out,
yeah.
Duncan Ferguson's the guy that I always think of when I see that top when he played for Rangers. But it looks a belter, that one. I know it's some people saying they would have rather the stripes went round the back as well rather than just the all blue in the back, but no, I like it. I think it's a slightly modern twist on that older one we had way back then. But you're just a bit older.
I don't want to be like this as if I'm showcasing it, but I do really like it. So
it's nice. I like the badge in the middle as well. I think that's a bit different.
I think it's done so well, mate. I do. I think it's lovely.
I think they'll sell buckets of that top. From the reaction on Twitter, folk are loving it. Usually tops kind of separate Rangers fans at times, but this one, I think we're all behind it. It's one I'll be going to the club shop next week, to have a look, and no doubt be purchasing it for our trip to Germany next week. So, no, I think it's a belter, and I'm sure I will see lots of them on Saturday when I'm at Ibrox.
Yeah, I think you might. Possibly on me, mate, as well. I might wear it tomorrow, or I might keep it for Germany. I'm not sure. I did a Q&A and I did a poll, in the live chat tonight via YouTube, and I asked, are this season's 3 kits from Castore the best that they've produced so far for us? 117 votes, 91% are saying yes, and 9% are saying no. I'm interested to see the 9% what they would think I've been better, but I think these 3, I think they've knocked it out the park with these 3. I really do. I think every single one of them's a nailer. I never ever go and buy every top that's released literally the day or the day after. It's always a home top, no matter what. I will. The away top and the third top, I'll usually leave a wee bit. As soon as these have come out, I was like, I'm going to get that. And same as that today, I was like, I'm going to get that today. As soon as I finish work, I was like, I'm going to get that. I have to go and get it. I absolutely love it. I think they've done themselves wonders, mate. And I think people might be kind of thinking maybe we should keep Castore on, because they might look, there's a lot of retro kits, and it's a thing just now with retro kits that everybody wants one. Everybody wants it to look that kind of wee bit retro. And with that, I mean, it's a hark back to one of the best ones I think we've probably ever had in terms of being a retro kit and not a home top. I think it's an absolute beauty. I absolutely love it. So, yeah, it will definitely be coming to Germany with me. That's for sure. Right, mate, we'll move on to the next pre-season friendly. Rangers v Hamburg SV even at Ibrox, 3pm kickoff on a Saturday, mate, as football is meant to be. Since dropping out of the Bundesliga, mate, they've dropped into the Bundesliga 2 in the 17-18 season. They have not quite managed to get back to the top flight, mate. They finished third in the league for the second year in a row in the season just gone by. The clubs and the fans, mate, have always had a good relationship, and it is good to see the club arranging this as a friendly. Hopefully they do next seasons in Germany. That would be brilliant and a great trip. But what are you expecting, mate? As I say, I think my thoughts are, against Newcastle, we're against a quality side, and I know it's pre-season. Hamburg are by no means as good as what Newcastle are. I expect this to be more competitive to a sense, but I expect Rangers to probably dominate the ball a lot more.
Yeah, Hamburg obviously aren't in the top flight in the Bundesliga, but they'll still be a decent team, Hamburg. I think they got to the playoffs there and get put out in the playoffs to try and get automatic promotion. But I think there'll be all German teams are a decent test, to be honest. I think they will, but we should be looking to beat them at Ibrox. I think we're the better team out of the two of them, I would say. Yes, we should be dominating the ball at Ibrox. I think we'll see more of the ball on Saturday than what we did against Newcastle. Newcastle in the first half, we were chasing shadows for large points of that game. I think it'll be roles reversed for Saturday. I think we'll see a lot of the ball on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it. I looked at the tickets sold on last week. I was looking at it, and it was only maybe about 30,000. I had a wee look just before we come on tonight, Carney, and most of them are selling now. There was quite a lot left in the club deck, but most of them are going now. So it's going to be a very good crowd. They'll bring a good crowd. I think there's a thing at Edmonton House tonight, a kind of fan party type thing to welcome the Hamburg fans at Edmonton House tonight. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. But no, looking forward to it. Like you say, it's a 3:00. It's a Saturday. It's a couple of beers, and the only downside is the weather looks like it's to pish with rain tomorrow.
I know. Typical, mate.
We can't have it all, though.
Typical. It's our first kind of arranged day that we're all like, right, Saturday 3:00, we'll go for beers and that, because it's weird, mate. It gets to summer and we hardly see each other. We see each other down the pod, but after that, I hardly really see you. And obviously, the last time we had a drink was the wee man's birthday, but as I say, as soon as I see the weather, I was like, of course. Of course it's the rain all day. Why would it not rain all day? But no, either of that, mate, I won't be put off by the weather, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to the day. And I say I'm looking forward to seeing Rangers and more dominating on the ball. I expect us to hopefully score a few goals. That's what you want to see in pre-season. Get players' confidence going as much as you possibly can. And again, it's interesting to see that we might see Dessers, we might see Roof, and we might see Lawrence as well returning, which I think is fantastic news for the squad and for the fans. So what I'm going to do, mate, and I know this is ridiculous because it's a pre-season friendly, take a stab at trying to pick a starting 11. What do you think the starting 11 will be tomorrow?
I mean,
What
there's
you think?
there's what I'd pick, and there's what I think Michael Beale will pick.
Right, okay. Well,
I think Michael Beale will go with. Oh God, he could go anything here. I'd be surprised
he'll
if he
play
got it
Butland.
right.
Butland will start.
Butland's
We'll agree. What we'll do is we'll agree an 11, right? So Butland will start.
Butland will start. Tav will start.
Yes.
Well, Goldson's not back. It'll be Suter, Ben Davies, Yilmaz, Raskin, Jack, Cantwell, Seema, Dessers, and Lammers. That's what I think you'll potentially start with.
I think, yeah, I think you might be right. The only thing I can see maybe different is possibly Raskin, Dow, and Cantwell, and not play Jack or Lundstrom. Look, this is impossible because we don't know where anybody is really in pre-season, so we were completely wrong. But I don't think you'll be far wrong with that. He might start Balogun. He might start Balogun maybe over Davis, and I'm not sure. There's a chance that he might start Balogun over Davis, but we need to wait and see. Give me a score prediction as well. We might as well. We'll always get it wrong anyway, so it makes no difference if we get us wrong.
I'm going to go 3-1 Rangers. First goal scorer will be Cantwell.
3-1. I'll say Rangers will keep a clean sheet. I'll go 2-0 to Rangers, and I'll say Dessers to get a goal the first goal on his first chance, first goal, boom, hit the ground running. Start as you mean to go on. That's what I'll go for that. But no, as I say, I'm looking forward to it. As I say, as much as you can with a pre-season friendly, I'm looking forward to it. As I say, Saturday at 3 o'clock, just everything's right in the world when you're going to Ibrox at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. It really is. So that will do us for tonight, mate. Ali, thank you very much. Oh, quickly before I go, actually, we are going, as we've mentioned it a few times, we are going to Germany next week. Yeah. We leave on the Friday, so next Friday, there won't be a podcast. There won't be a live podcast, especially not on the Friday. I don't know if we're going to move things about. Keep an eye on our socials and on our YouTube channel. I'll let you know for sure what we're going to do once I speak to the guys probably tomorrow over a beer about what we're going to do. But next Friday night, there definitely won't be a podcast because it would just be Scotia probably sitting here himself trying to do everything. And I think that's a wee bit unfair on him because Scotia's unfortunately not coming with us. So yeah, unfortunately, we are going to Germany. So next Friday, there won't be a club live. But there's been one the whole way through the summer, so you can't really complain too much. But yeah, we definitely will be here next Friday. So yes, Ali, I will see you tomorrow, mate. Thanks for tonight.
Yeah, if we done a club live next Friday, Carney, that could get us taken off air.
We can't do that.
Ryan after a couple of bevies and the beers out in Germany. So no, that will not be happening. I'm looking forward to that trip. That's one we booked a wee while ago now, Carney, and it's nearly here. I've printed off my ticket for obviously the Hoffenheim Stadium, whatever it's called, we're going to. So looking forward to it. But no, tomorrow, 3 o'clock, as you say, Carney. The rain's not going to ruin it for me tomorrow. Rangers are there. It's 3 o'clock. We can have a few beers together and a match reaction as well. It will be, I think it's our first match reaction together in the Viceroy or wherever we do it since last season. It will be, I think so.
Well, it will be. Of course it will be. What kind of thing's that to say?
Well, because we played in Newcastle. Played Newcastle on Tuesday.
Obviously, you were considerably sauced. Not as sauced as Fraser, mind you. I will give you that. But you were considerably sauced, and I was on my way home. But yeah, it will be. It will be our first one together. Our first one together. Well, Scotia will be there, but it all depends on what Scotia is there. Let's be honest about that. So yes, thank you everybody in the chat. I really do appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. If you could do me a favour and like the video, subscribe to the channel as well, that would be very much appreciated. Help us push to get 5,000 because we're not too far away. That's the target for this season. So hopefully we manage to get there. But yes, we will be back tomorrow. We'll bring you some form of reaction after the game once we get back to the pub. So until then, if you're going to the game, enjoy the game. If you're watching it on the telly, also enjoy it. And we'll speak to you tomorrow after full time. So we are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.